here live inside Titan Stadium here in Hemet, California. This is Friday Night Football right here on PlayOn Sports and the PlayOn Sports Video Networks. Alongside here, Joel Diaz, our color man, and Manny Nunez making the call tonight. Tonight, it is the second game of Mountain Pass League play featuring the Tigers of San Jacinto taking on the Tahquitz Titans. Joel, it's going to be a doozy here. Tahquitz coming in 5-1 on the year, but don't let the record fool you, because the rest of the way they've got their toughest opponents throughout the whole season, where every opponent in their league is averaging on 4 wins or better.
Yeah, Tahquitz is going to have a really rough road ahead of them. They started league play last week against Hemet, who was 1-4. They handled them very well and efficiently. But this is going to be their first big test in league play against San Jacinto. They've got Citrus Hill coming up. They've got Beaumont coming up, which is going to be another really tough game. And I think Tahquitz, with their high-powered offense, are going to be able to at least go over 500 in league play.
And the thing, I talked to head coach Dennis Gregovich about today's game and really the rest of the year. And you hear the cliche, you take it one game at a time. But you look at the schedule and the way Tahquitz has been playing. He iterated to his team that, these 5 wins, you can say maybe half kind of count. The rest, you can kind of say it was more or less kind of a preparation going into the rest of the season. Like we've said, it's a tough road ahead of us. And, in all reality, they really got to take it really not just one game at a time, but really one quarter at a time, because these opponents are going to be very difficult the rest of the way.
Yeah, definitely. Each of these teams, they spend a lot of time in the film room checking each other out, trying to gauge what they're going to go up against each week. And so Tahquitz, they're definitely going to have to switch things up each quarter to kind of keep the defense on their heels, because the other team is going to come right at them with the exact same thing. You saw that they built up a bit of confidence starting this season, especially against teams like Murrieta Mesa. Their offense was able to put up a lot of points, but their defense suffered. But in the games after that, the defense did phenomenal. They gave up no more than 14 points in a game. 7 points in another game. I think they shut a team out. They shut out Rubidoux. And so their defense is coming in really confident. Their offense is coming in really confident. You just got to be careful with that overconfidence.
And the thing with, speaking of offense, talk about confidence and just really an all-around mix in their offense. You got a guy like Jonte Price, who is coming in with 15 touchdowns on this season. You got a really good arm in Benjamin Reno. They've got a lot of weapons, but this time around they really have to utilize them the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Jonte Price is their #1 weapon. He's got 15 touchdowns, as you mentioned. Their rushing offense is really important through Jonte and Derek Peters. They are averaging just a little over 300 yards per game. Ben Moreno also is doing a great job. Just a little over about 215 passing yards a game, but he's got 13 touchdowns and only 1 interception. So as you can see, they're utilizing all their weapons very efficiently.
And the thing with that 1 interception, he came off a tip ball, so it wasn't really all his fault. But nonetheless, it should be a doozy here tonight. One of the best games here this season that Tahquitz will play. It is Tahquitz taking on San Jacinto. We'll take a quick timeout for a national anthem. You're watching high school football right here on PlayOn Sports, where high school sports lives right here.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the PlayOn School broadcast program,
go to playonsports.com/SBP.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
Welcome back here to Titan Stadium here in Hemet, California. Once again, alongside Joel Diaz. Manny Diaz making the call. It is San Jacinto taking on Tahquitz in homecoming night, as a matter of fact. A night of Vegas lights is the theme here for homecoming for the Titans.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of costumes coming in today, some pirates, some all the girls dressed up ready for homecoming, and everyone seems excited. I remember my high school days for homecoming.
Yeah, as do I. Actually, I was in Pads my last year, and you know, it was definitely a very warm feeling when you're playing in front of a very packed crowd. And speaking of crowd, too, you know, a team like 5-1, they're really packing the house here tonight for this Titan team, and they're really just turning up. And obviously, the more wins, the more people you have in the stands.
Yeah, the stands are packed as I'm looking at them right now. There's barely any room to sit. You've got people like pretty much standing in between the aisles trying to catch this game tonight. It's going to be a great one.
Tahquitz won the toss. They elected to defer to the second half. They will kick off going from right to left. It's a short one, and we're underway here in Hemet. Up along the near side, taken down on the kickoff return for about maybe 5 to 6 yards. And the drive will start inside the 40, down to the 42, and we'll see the high-powered offense and the great arm of P.J. Murrieta and one of the greatest running backs here from San Jacinto, and more or less, Kalik Martin.
Yeah, San Jacinto, we're going to see their offense here in a little bit. P.J. Murrieta, their starting quarterback, has a good arm, so we got to see if they're going to air it out a lot here.
Up in the bunch formation, Tahquitz recognizing they're pushing right on up here on 1st down and 10. Murrieta hands off right up the middle. He breaks free. There he goes up along the near side. No one's going to catch him. In for the score.
Wow, what a way to start this ball game. With one play, one run, San Jacinto is on the board. Lined up in the bunch formation. Tahquitz was playing the run, but offensive line was able to make a hole there for the running back, and he took it all the way.
Already on one play, They took it right up the middle. They opened like Moses parting the Red Sea, and he found an easy slot up along the near side, and he made it a 6-0 game now pending the extra point.
Yeah, he went untouched all the way to the end zone. No one touched him on his way there. Incredible way to start this game. Took them 15 seconds to score.
So with the kick is up, and it is good. Only 15 seconds into the game, and already we've got our first score of the game, a 7-0 ball game. We'll keep it right here. And as we talked to head coach Dennis Gregovich before the game today, saying it's one game at a time, and you really have to take it in this case, with teams like these, really just kind of one quarter, maybe even one play at a time. And right there, Tahquitz has really got a taste of their own medicine. They've really got to kind of just respond very quickly because this Jacinto team is really known for scoring at high numbers.
Yeah, Tahquitz, as we talked about earlier in the pregame, they have a very high-powered offense backed by Jonte Price, the senior running back. He can break for a run just like the one we saw within seconds. He can be gone. He's got the speed. He's got the power. He can break for it. I think Tahquitz is just going to go to their bread and butter, go to Jonte Price, and try to see if they can replicate what San Jacinto just did.
Here we go as Tim Neely will take the kickoff return just near the back of the end zone, tries to break up a few tackles, and then gets brought down up along the far hash mark near the 25-yard line. So in response, the Titans need to go this time 75 yards in for a potential touchdown. And now here comes the high-powering Tahquitz offense coming out on the field.
Yeah, and mentioning high-power offense, we haven't really talked about their offensive line. Their offensive line is a big part of this offense. They create those holes for Jonte Price to just break through. They give a lot of protection to Benjamin Moreno to be able to get passes off to Michael Stewart on those slant plays. They definitely anchor this offense.
Jonte Price breaks up a few tackles and then fights for about 12 yards. That is well enough for a first down. You can see, like you said, that offensive line trying to, make room for him, but you saw the secondary really pile up on him. If it weren't for that one or last two players up in the backfield, he would have been broken free.
Yeah, Jonte Price, again, using a little power there, breaking a couple tackles. Couldn't break for it all the way, but good enough for a first down.
And nonetheless, here at the 42-yard line now, 1st and 10 near midfield. On the shotgun, Price again with the handoff. Sheds up another couple of tackles and then runs into a sea of white jerseys before getting brought down. Nice help there, too little too late there by the big man and Trayvon Stewart, who wants to join in on the fun.
Yeah, they tried to push Jonte a little forward there, kind of like the Matt Leinart getting pushed in by Reggie Bush in the end zone. That's kind of what it reminded me of there.
Right now setting up here 2nd down and a short two, under 1 minute already underway. In this one, already a 7-0 score on one play from the Tigers. On the handoff, there is Derek Peters, who runs for the first down, but there is some tarp up on the field, and again, in the area of holding.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Tahquitz there. They were able to get a first down, but because of the penalty, it's going to push him back, and now it's going to be a 2nd and long.
Titans known for responding really well on penalties, although, again, you look at the running game, and again, we try to reiterate his name again, and Jonte Price coming into today, 15 touchdowns, more impressively, 1,100 rushing yards, 15 yards per carry.
Yeah, that is incredible. Like, I have not seen a running back as phenomenal as Jonte Price. He's got it all. He's got the speed. He's got the strength. He's got the vision. He just, as soon as he finds a hole, he can just take it all the way at any moment.
Now on 2nd down and about 11 or 12 after the holding penalty. Taking the handoff here is Price running towards the near side. He gains almost all of it back. Gets tackled up near the first down marker at the 46. Gain of about 10 on the play.
Yeah, here now on 3rd and 1, I would just assume they're going to go back to that run game.
Right now back in the shotgun, Derek Peters with the handoff. Gets tripped up. Falls, I believe, over the first down marker. The referees are positioned to say he got the first down. Let's move those chains.
Yeah, that was a good play there. Benjamin Moreno lined up in the shotgun and was able to hand it off to Peters and gained a couple yards for the first down.
So now near midfield here, 1st down and 10 up inside the Titan 48-yard line. Back in the shotgun, Moreno. Great snap call there by Moreno, who drew a bunch of defensive linemen over the ball. That'll be a neutral zone infraction call. Offsides, take it 5 yards anyway.
Yeah, that's that hard count there used by Benjamin Moreno, able to get that defensive line jumping over the neutral zone. Reminds me a little bit of Brett Favre. He used to do that really well, too.
Now on 1st down, this time at 5 yards to go inside of Tiger territory. Moreno in the shotgun with Peters in the backfield. Takes a snap now, looking for the option. Good pitch back. There goes Peters up along the near side, bursting through and fights for a big gain, about 15 yards. Let's move those chains again.
That was great vision there by Benjamin Moreno. He saw the tackler was about to take him down, pitched it out to Peters for the quick run it down the sideline, used his power to get those few extra yardage before being pushed out of bounds.
I'm telling you, in a game like this, you're going to see quite a bit of highlights. Here's Jonte Price up the hole, diving for a few yards, maybe about 3 there on the play, setting him now 2nd down and 7. A flag on the play late, well after the whistle. Not sure if there was much commotion inside the pile. Referees are discussing the issue here.
That was definitely a late flag.
They're going to say too many men on the field. It's called against the Tigers, and it's funny because you have people inside our press box shouting that there might be 12 or 13 men on the field, and you know that last-minute call, the referee saw it, give him 10 more after the run.
Yeah, it looks like San Jacinto wanted both 1st string and 2nd string on the field to try to stop Jonte Price.
They did, but it was 3 plus the 10 on the penalty nonetheless. Price back in the backfield. 1st down and 10 inside the 20 at the 18. Moreno this time will go look to pass. Pass complete down to Stewart. Stewart with the catch, and he's brought down inside the 10, close to the 6. It is enough for a 1st down. Drop the chains, now setting up 1st and goal.
This is a great drive here by Tahquitz. They've been able to move the ball through the run game, using the option, and now going through the air to Michael Stewart. This puts him in the red zone and getting ready to score.
Whistle an official's timeout to look at the clock. I believe one of the referees pointed towards the scoreboard. There was also a Tiger player who wants to switch out up along the defensive line. If the commotion is, let's restart the clock. Clock now ticking, under 8:15 to go here. 1st and goal at the 6. Price in the handoff. Finds a hole, runs into the pile, and then brings his body into the end zone for the touchdown. Jonte Price for 6 yards, taking it to the house.
Yeah, that was a great run there by Jonte Price. They were almost able to take him down right before the goal line, but again, there's that strength that he uses in those legs, that power, and he was able to power through into the end zone. And now this is going to be a great ball game.
I'm telling you, if you like highlights, you like touchdowns, you like scores, and you like runs, this is the game to watch tonight. Kick is up, and it is good. In response on the one-play touchdown from the Tigers, the Titans go 75 yards, mostly on the ground, and it was capped out by the 6-yard touchdown run by Jonte Price. It's now a 7-7 ball game. We'll take a quick timeout right here. This is Friday Night Football right here on PlayOnSports.com, where high school sports lives right here.
Tonight's game is being brought to you by our title sponsor, Trinity Energy Solutions. Trinity Energy Solutions, a green energy company, specializes in the installation of power shaver energy saving systems. For more information, find TES online at www.trinityenergysolutions.org or call them at 951-654-0824. Trinity Energy Solutions, saving energy across the world.
Back in action right here on this one alongside Joel Diaz, Mandy News making the call, and our producer, Tim Barker, upstairs, man to the camera. In very nice weather, I would say. A little cool, but I'd say a great night for football, and that's our man Jonathan Silva upstairs. Joel, great response after the one-play touchdown. More importantly, it took 4 minutes off the clock. They're really showing who's trying to take care of business.
Yeah, definitely Tahquitz. We've seen throughout their last few games, they've been doing really well with that clock management, using the clock, using the run to keep the clock going, and they just score fast. They score fast, they score quick, they come at you really fast, and San Jacinto is going to have to be ready for that.
The Tigers come out onto the field after the flag as the kick did go out of bounds. In fact, they're going to re-kick it. Remember, most teams do have the option of re-kicking. Most end up taking the penalty, but they're going to decide to take the 5-yard penalty, so the Titans will re-kick the ball from the 35. An unusual call there. They would have started at the 40.
Yeah, they're trying to play a field position game here, going with the re-kick. They're trying to pin him back just a little bit more. I think it's a good call on this one.
So they'll take the 5-yard penalty here. And this time it'll stay, but this time along the sidelines. San Jacinto can't handle the ball, but it just goes out of bounds before a lot of black jerseys could have had a chance to pounce right on top of it.
Yeah, that was very interesting there. San Jacinto special teams had a little bit of miscommunication. You had two guys going after the ball. They got in each other's way, both dropped it. Luckily for them, the ball went out of bounds because you saw Tahquitz special teams flying down the field and jumping on top of that ball, but unfortunately for them, it was out of bounds.
And now the penalty that was taken might be questionable if they do not score here. They would have had the ball starting at the 40, maybe the 45, but instead they elect to take the penalty and have the Titans re-kick, and this time it pushes back 20 yards from where they could have started. Here on first down, the pitch up along the far side. Running back finds another hole and gets creative as he gains about 20 yards.
Yeah, another big run there. Their powerful running game here, Malik Kimbrough for San Jacinto. 2 runs, one of them a touchdown. This one another big run bringing it out of the 20. It was a 20-plus yard run there.
It was Ryan Muir who did score the first touchdown. But this time they're using the likes of Malik Kimbrough, their star running back. This time Kimbrough takes the pitch up along the near side, up at the 50, and then gets tackled out of bounds at the 40. Another first down here for the Tigers, and you can really just see the speed coming out of this Tiger offense.
They're another high-powered run offense, just like Tahquitz. They can match their speed, they're matching their power, and I think we're just going to be seeing rushing touchdowns back and forth here in this game.
Under 7:36 to go here in this one. Again, a 7-7 ball game. On the handoff, and there's the black jerseys pushing him back. Flag on the play. It is holding, but I would assume that the Titans are going to elect to decline.
Yeah, this will push them back if they do accept the penalty, but either way, they were able to tackle them for a loss.
One of the captains for the Titans, and Christian Bertrand, one of the defensive captains, talking to the referees. They're going to elect to take the penalty. So it would have been a 3-yard loss. Instead, they'll push it back 10 yards. It'll be instead first down, maybe 25. I'm not too sure. No, it is going to be about 20 yards.
Yeah, if it would have been about 2nd and 13 if they would have elected to decline, which is still, I guess, could be questionable call, but if this the steel wall, as you like to call it, the steel curtain, if they can stop San Jacinto's run game, this will be a good call.
Yeah, you would have lost it down if they would have taken the penalty. A whistle, and it's going to be a timeout called here by San Jacinto. We'll take a timeout right here as well. Once again, under 7 minutes, or 7:09 exactly to go here in the second quarter, and a 7-7 ball game. You're watching Friday Night Football right here on PlayOnSports.com.
Our first quarter is brought to you by My Mama's Pizza. Located on the corner of Sanderson and Devonshire, My Mama's Pizza is open daily from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Right now, you can get a large one-topping pizza, a large salad, and 4 soft drinks for just $22.99. Take advantage of this limited time special. Visit My Mama's Pizza today because nobody feeds you like Mama.
What a deal. For $23, you get a large salad, a large pizza, and 4 soft drinks. I mean, you had a family of 4 right here staffed all together.
I think I want this just all to myself.
Hey.
So delicious.
Oh, don't be selfish, Joel. I mean, you gotta share. Sharing is caring, right?
True.
Yes.
I guess I'll share with you, Manny. I think I'll share with you.
Maybe not, Tim. Maybe not, Tim. In any case, back in action here after the holding penalty. First down now and 20 with the ball back inside of Tiger territory. 7:09 to go here in this first quarter. Back-to-back rushing touchdowns. One on one play, the other going 75 yards, mostly on the ground. In the shotgun formation. Quarterback dropping back, firing up the middle. Pass is complete. It's shy at the beginning of the 10-yard marker as the defense piles on top of him. And gain of about 9, setting up now 2nd down and 11.
Yeah, that was a good pass play. There's the first pass play of the game for San Jacinto. It got him a 12-yard gain on that one, put him back to pretty close to the original line of scrimmage.
So now 2nd down and about 11 here, under 6:40 to go in this first quarter. Once again, the Tigers back in the bunch formation with a lot of backs right behind him, the quarterback in Murrieta. On the handoff, there goes Kimbrough, fighting for those extra yards inside the 30 and then gets brought near the out-of-bounds line. It might be, yes, the referees are saying it's enough for a first down. Again, move those chains. No, it's not. They're actually going to say maybe. Yes, they're going to say move the chains. A gain of nearly 11 yards, but it's just enough for another first down.
Yeah, that was another powerful run there by Kimbrough. He was able to shed the tackler to get that extra yardage for the first down. Tahquitz had the opportunity to bring him down just short, but using that power, he stiff-armed him down and was able to get the first down.
Back in the bunch formation, Murrieta here on 1st down and 10 near the 30. Again on the handoff, going nowhere. Maybe a gain of about 2 yards as the defense recognized the run up the middle.
Yeah, I've noticed so far that Tahquitz is lining up in the 4-3 defense, or 3-4 defense, my apologies. They're getting those linebackers ready because they're preparing for this run game. They've noticed that the run game is very powerful for San Jacinto, and their running backs are big. They're big guys. They're very fast, and so they're going to need these linebackers to be able to get those tackles. As we saw, they were shedding tackles. They need to actually be able to bring them down if they're going to have to stop this powerful offense.
Now setting up on offense here, 2nd down and 8 with Murrieta back in the shotgun. Single back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. A whistle and a flag, and it's going to be a delay of game penalty here called against the Tigers. So moving back now 5 yards, setting up now 2nd down and 13.
That was a good break there for Tahquitz. Pushes back this offense, who's been gaining at least 10 yards per play.
So now 2nd down and 13. Back in the shotgun is Murrieta. Single back to his right. Staying in the pocket as he drops back. Pocket collapsing, and there he goes as the defense comes in for the sack. Ball popped loose, but Murrieta fell on top of it. 3rd down and long now.
That was a great rush there. He had 4 guys rushing, and they were able to plow through that offensive line. Pocket collapsed. They were on top of that quarterback within seconds. He had no time to get rid of that ball.
Great defensive pressure there by the Titans, who, again, relied on this time the passing game after the delay of game penalty. And that 5 yards really made a big difference because it took away part of the running game, relying on the passing game. This time around, that drew up the sack. Now on 3rd down here and long with the clock ticking here, under 4:10 to go in this first quarter. Murrieta here in the shotgun, single back on his left side with 3 receivers up along the far side. On the play action, and again, back-to-back sacks.
Wow, this defense completely snuffed out that play there, and they were on top of the quarterback again within seconds. He gave him maybe 1-2 seconds, and they were on top of him. Sack number 2.
I believe in this kind of game with 2 very high-powered offense, stops are going to be very few and far between. The biggest thing for Tahquitz, forcing the Tigers to punt. How will they respond here? It isn't obviously one of those repetitive questions, but this was a huge stop here for the Titans. On the kick that goes along the far side, takes a Tahquitz bounce. Now it's down up at the 29. That's where the drive will start here for the Titans on 1st down and 10 going the other way.
Yeah, let's see what Tahquitz has in store here. They were able to get that stop, and so basically they're going to try to get in the end zone, get the lead. Of course, you're going to have to rely on Jonte Price a lot again. San Jacinto, they're going to be preparing, just like Gregovich mentioned, play quarter to quarter. San Jacinto's going to be doing the exact same thing. They're going to be trying to snuff out Jonte Price's run, trying to keep him to a very, very small amount of yards per carry.
Yeah, definitely, especially in the spread offense. Really, with this Tahquitz team, they can go either way. Price will take the handoff, running towards the near side, finds a hole, takes it at the 40, and then gets brought out of bounds inside the 50 into Tiger territory. That's a first down on a big gain as they're inching now closer to the red zone.
Another great run there. He gained 21 yards on that one. His yards per carry just going up.
This guy predicting to maybe get at least 2-3 touchdowns a game, and against a team like the Tigers, that would be a very big accomplishment. Under 2:50 to go. Here's Peters on the handoff, gaining about 4 yards. He dives to the 45, setting up now 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, I think Jonte Price is going to get you those fantasy points again this week, just like he did last week. He's doing a phenomenal job.
I think I'm taking on Tim Parker this time around, and that touchdown maybe could put me over the hump if he gets me maybe 1 or 2 more. Now setting up here 2nd down and 6 with Price back in as the running back. Moreno takes the handoff on the play action, rolls out now right side. Fires it up to the corner, looking for Tavares. Over his hands, ball tipped, incomplete.
Yeah, that was a tough pass. There was double coverage there. None of the other receivers were really open. That was great defense there by San Jacinto, forcing Ben Moreno to roll out and throw that incomplete pass.
So after the broken pass here on the double coverage, 3rd down now and about 7. Price again in the backfield with 3 receivers split up along the far side. Price takes the handoff up the middle, trying to find a hole, takes a few defenders with him, gaining about 10 on the play. Let's move those chains.
Again, Price, 1st down runs right there. Just every time he touches the ball, there's a very good chance of you just automatically getting that 1st down.
I'm telling you, those 3rd down conversions, whether it's long or short, give the ball to Price, and he can really do a lot of magic. Peters here this time in the backfield, 1st down and 10 at the 36. Moreno takes the snap, throws it up along the far side, looking for Tavares, could not connect. Incomplete.
Yeah, that was pretty decent pass coverage there by the San Jacinto defense. It was a good slant play, just missed that window that Benjamin Moreno had for Tavares. He threw it a little bit behind him, so it fell incomplete.
Stopping the clock on that play there for now 2nd down and 10 with under 1:50 to go. Peters in the backfield as he shifts over to the left side of the quarterback. On the option now, Moreno will take it himself and dives for maybe about 2.5 yards. A short gain now setting up 3rd down and potentially long. Once again here, it's a 7-7 ball game. If you're just joining us right here, back-to-back rushing touchdowns on the Tiger side. One play, it only took Ryan Miller to rush it in the end zone. On the other side, 75 yards on 8 plays for the Titans. Pass complete, this time to Asparis. Complete inside the 30, down to the 27, but I believe he might be a yard short of the 1st down marker, setting him now 4th down and 1. It's now decision time here for head coach Dennis Gregovich.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be going for it. It's 4th and short, 4th and 1. I think they might go back to the run.
Yes, they are, and here is Price on the handoff. Gets about 2 yards, gets to the 25, and it is enough for the far side to move the chains.
Yeah, Price got tripped up there on that run pretty quickly, but he fell forward past that 1st down marker.
So on the 4th down conversion now, 1st down and 10 at the 25-yard line, nearing the red zone. Peters in the backfield. He'll take the handoff, now running towards the far side. Gets brought down inside the 25 to the 23, a gain of about 2. Really big difference between these two offenses. they're not really trying to rush anything. Yeah, they like to put up points, and that's one thing that head coach Dennis Gregovich had mentioned is, they'll put up 50, 60 points if they really want to, but really they like to take things pretty slow and kind of mix things around. Moreno on the completion to Tavares. A gain of about 12 yards. Again, moving the chains. First down and 10 now as he's tackled at the 13.
Yeah, this is a very efficient drive. As you mentioned, they like to take their time once in a while. They've been taking their time on this drive, running the ball with Jonte and Derek Peters, and now going through the air, passing to Tavares, and they're just slowly moving those chains, and now they're about 15 yards away.
On first down and 10, play stopped here with the whistle. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. No one really saw it, as I guess they didn't get the snap out in time. So 7-7 the score, back-to-back rushing touchdowns. One-on-one play, the other on an 8-play, 75-yard drive. We'll take a quick timeout right here. This is Friday Night Football right here on PlayOnSports.com, where high school football lives right here.
Do you want to watch more of your school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight? Tell your school to sign up for the PlayOn Sports School Broadcast Program. The program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Back in action here on this one. Again, it's Joel Diaz, the color guy. Manny Nunes making the call. And the four-man crew to the left of me is Tim Barker clicking buttons and putting the score up on the board. And upstairs, Manny the camera, is our good man, Jonathan Silva. 7-7 ball game as the Titans break out of the huddle, and they'll start things now on the other side of the field here to get things going in the second quarter. They'll start the drive here in the second quarter of play, first down and 10 with the ball at the 12-yard line. Just joining us here once again, back-to-back touchdowns for both teams. And that came within the first 4 minutes of this ball game. Moreno in the shotgun. He'll take the snap, looking for a pass. Sweet pass down to Peters. Big gain. Does he get the touchdown as he dived over the pylon? The referees are going to say he stepped out of bounds inside the 3. Second down and short, but a great effort, though, by Peters nonetheless.
Yeah, tons of effort there by Peters, and this puts them just a yard away from a first down as well.
So second down and short. They can opt to maybe get the first down. They're going to hand the ball up to Peters, trying to run into defenders and breaks free into the end zone for the touchdown. So yeah. Derek Peters on 3 yards, taking it to the house.
Yeah, Derek Peters plowed through the defenders there. It took 3 guys trying to take him down, and they just couldn't use that truck stick, and he went right through them, right into the end zone, putting up points on the board for Tahquitz.
So again, the stop on the other side of the ball gets the Titans their second touchdown of the game. The kick is up, and it is good. A 14-7 ball game, ending on a 2.5-yard touchdown run there by Derek Peters. A 14-7 ball game. We'll take a quick timeout right here. This is Friday Night Football right here on PlayOnSports.com.
Greenleaf Gardening and Landscaping is a proud sponsor of tonight's second quarter. Located at 42337 Santee Court, Greenleaf Gardening and Landscaping is your one-stop shop for your outdoor needs. Call Hemet's Gardening and Landscaping experts today at 951-927-3693. Greenleaf, for all of your gardening and landscaping needs.
So a 14-7 ball game, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 of each by Derek Peters and Jonte Price, but more importantly, in a game where offense and scoring is really, by the looks of it, it's going to be a slugfest here tonight. Really, stops might be really, really few and far between, and Tahquitz really responded well after the delayed game penalty on the other side of the ball by San Jacinto, getting back-to-back sacks, and that really set up a very efficient drive by the Titans on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, Tahquitz has now been able to score on both of their drives. They've been able to take it into the end zone. And the big key so far of this first half is that their defense was able to stop San Jacinto from scoring at all on their second drive. So that's why now 14-7, we got to see if the Tahquitz defense can continue to do that and put stops on San Jacinto. San Jacinto, they're going to have to battle back quick and fast against this team.
Yeah, if they get another stop here, and Tahquitz end up scoring, there might be a very good chance that Tahquitz may be able to control this game, really controlling the ball and really being the team that has the most time of possession might be the key into this one tonight. 11:27 to go here in this second quarter of play. Back in the bunch formation are the Tigers. Murrieta takes the handoff, pitches it back to his running back in Kimbrough. Up along the far side, getting brought down near the sidelines at the 43, a gain of about 7.
Yeah, there was some good blocking there. It looked like the running back might have gone down for no gain or lost a couple yards, but there was some good blocking there by Jacinto, and they were able to get a gain of 8.
And that's one thing that Dennis Gregovich iterated as this defensive line is getting a big test tonight with the size of this Tiger line. On second down now in a short 2. Murrieta takes the handoff on the quick handoff to the fullback. Powell goes backwards, but not before he gains about 1. But nonetheless, it'll set up here third down and short.
You've got inches, it looks like, on this one. It's going to be a big third down for the Tahquitz defense. They're going to need to get a stop here because Jacinto is going to be trying to get that momentum back with that run game.
They're going to say he gained maybe about 1.5 yards, and he's on the other side, inches away. And I mean, maybe a hair or 2 away from the first down. The referees are going to bring the chains out to measure. Well, I don't know if he really got that much of a game, but the referees are going to say they're going to give him that much of a forward progress. Chains come out onto the field.
Yeah, that was a very favorable spot there.
And the referees are going to say they are maybe a pinky toe, I would say, short.
Yeah, just like you like to say, millimeters on that one.
And yes, I'm a math major, but even then, that's still too close to call.
Yeah, I think a breeze would have pushed that ball over.
Third down now, and a very, very short inch or 2 away from the first down. Forward progress will get him a first down. A flag on the play, though, on the Hemet side. Correction, the Tahquitz side. Interesting call to see maybe if it's against the Tigers. Referee's talking about it. It is a personal foul face mask against the defense. So what would have been a short 1-yard gain instead turns into a 15-yard freebie for the Tigers.
Yeah, that was not a good play there by the Tahquitz defense. You know that they're just going to try to do the quarterback keep there. There's no need to get your hands on the face mask. Instead of just, giving up a 1-yard gain, it's a tough 15, and it puts them just a little bit deeper within your own territory.
So after the 15-yard penalty, what would have been maybe a 1-yard gain, now it sets them up into Tahquitz territory. First down and 10, back in the bunch formation. Kimbrough with the handoff up along the far side. About a 5, maybe 4 or 5-yard gain on the play. Second down now and 5.
Yeah, again, as you mentioned earlier in this game, this is a huge test for the Tahquitz defense. They've done a great job in their last few games since Murrieta Mesa when they gave up 60 points. But ever since, they've been doing a great job. This is a big, big test for them against this powerful, this very large San Jacinto offensive line.
And you can tell on this drive, too, they're really relying on the running game. Second down now and 5 at the 39. On the play action, Tahquitz sniffed it out. Pass, though, complete. Inside the 30, down to about the 22. Reading it well, Murrieta found an open guy. It's enough for a first down.
Yeah, P.J. Murrieta with the little roll out there was able to avoid the sack. And good job by his receivers as well to get open on that play, seeing that he needed some help. And Murrieta was able to get that ball right at him.
So after the big gain of about 15, first down and 10 at the 22, back in the bunch formation. Murrieta under center, handing it off to Kimbrough, who gains about 4 on the play. Second down and 6. The first time the Tigers end up passing the ball goes successful, because the last 2 plays they ended up going for sacks on 8 and 12 yards.
Yeah, they've only gone, I believe, 4 pass plays in this game. 2 of them were completions, 2 of them were sacks. We've seen that they've been relying heavily on that run game.
This time on 2nd down and 6 here in the I formation. The pitch out to Kimbrough up along the far side, using his feet to get inside the 10, down to about the 5. So now a 1st and goal here for the Tigers as they're now inching closer to the end zone.
It looks like Kimbrough's trying to match Jonte Price yard for yard, touchdown for touchdown in this game. Kimbrough also very powerful and with a lot of speed, can break for a big run on any play.
So now 1st down and goal at the 5-yard line, back in the bunch formation with the shift on the left. The handoff up the middle, and there's the defense reading that play very well. That's going to be a loss on the run.
That was a good snuff out there by the defense. They had 5 guys on top of that running back really quick.
That's the play that Tahquitz needed to really send a message, as a matter of fact. Clock still ticking here, 7:15 to go in this 2nd quarter. Again, it's a 14-7 Titan lead. Here on homecoming night, a whistle and a timeout here called by the Titans. And we'll keep it right here. A big difference from the beginning of this 1st quarter. It only took 4 minutes for both teams to put some points on the scoreboard, but now the game's kind of really picked up the pace in terms of really seeing a lot of runs and a lot of clock management too, and this is something that we kind of expected going into tonight.
Yeah, the first drive by each team, they both scored quick, and that allowed the defense to kind of realize what they need to do to try to slow them down. San Jacinto was not able to stop Tahquitz on their last drive. Tahquitz scored. The Tahquitz defense was able to stop San Jacinto. They're trying to do it again here, but San Jacinto's also starting to slowly read that defense, as you mentioned earlier. The importance in this game is to go quarter by quarter, and San Jacinto's doing that. They're reading the defense. They're trying to get those yards as best as they can through the run game. Through the air, not so much, but they have a very powerful run game, and I think it's going to help them a lot in this game.
Definitely on both sides of the ball, too, and we've really seen a lot of the power here from San Jacinto. On the pitch back, once again, Tahquitz reading that play well, and another loss on the run, setting up now 3rd and goal as they started at the 5, and they push it back 5 yards here on 2 plays.
Yeah, the Tahquitz defense bunched up right there. They had about 5 guys on top of him again, and pushed them back a couple more yards, just like they did on the last play. This is what they're going to have to do throughout this game if they want to come out with the victory.
So now 3rd down and goal. It's option time here for head coach Bill Powell to see what they're going to do. Back in the bunch formation, a whistle, and the hard count drew off the defensive line. In fact,
encroachment.
They're going to say encroachment. So bring them back half the distance. You take away those last 2 plays, and that brings them back to where that drive had started.
Yeah, that was a tough break for Tahquitz, giving up that penalty, giving up that yardage that the defense fought so much to take back. This is also a big break for San Jacinto and put a little bit of momentum on their side.
Now, whistle and a timeout here called by the Tigers. We'll keep it right here on 3rd down and 5 as the Tigers will call time. It's their first timeout here of this set of this first half. And Joel, a big difference between these 2 quarters. Again, 4 minutes starting off on big running plays. One by Jonte, the other one by Ryan Muir. But now it's kind of been more or less really holding on the ball, and really you can just see both teams really trying to control the time of possession, and they'll take the 10 to 12 yard gains. They'll maybe try to look for that big run, and I think that's what they're trying to see, is which team will break first to really get that big run going.
Yeah, both of these teams are very capable to break for a big one on any given play. I think that's why they're both relying heavily on the run game. We've seen very few pass plays. I believe 1 or 2 from Benjamin Moreno, 4 attempted pass plays here for San Jacinto. the run game, I think that's the best bet for both these teams.
So back out of the timeout here, 3rd down and goal at the 5-yard line. The pitch back, the dive into the end zone. They're going to say yes, he crossed the goal line. Touchdown for the Titans. I believe it was Malik Kimbrough who dived into the end zone, put him in for 6.
Yeah, and there's San Jacinto battling back, pushing forward. They got that touchdown. Unfortunately for the Tahquitz defense, it was on 3rd down. A missed tackle there allowed San Jacinto's Kimbrough to get into the end zone and possibly tie this ball game up.
A 5-minute drive capped off by Malik Kimbrough's 5-yard touchdown run. It's 14-13 pending the XP. The snap, the hold, the kick along the right side. It is up and it's over the crossbar and good. So 4 rushing touchdowns, 2 of each on both sides of the ball. It's a 14-14 ball game here with 6:09 to go in this second quarter. We'll keep it right here. Joel here in a tie ball game. You know, both teams are known for obviously playing a full 48 minutes as well. And you saw that, you know, a couple of games that the Titans have put on the field. No matter what, even if it's a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd string, they'll play the full 48 minutes. And really, I really think they've kind of prepared well going into these next 4 games. And, you know, against these really tough opponents, it's really more about stamina and really kind of holding yourself from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. Tahquitz has come in very well prepared with the opponents that they've faced. And it's shown so far in this game. They're going back and forth with a very big, a very powerful San Jacinto team that many expected would just come in here and take Tahquitz down.
Oh, there's Sean Asparis up along the near side as he took the pitch. Correction, it's not Asparis, it's Tyler Fayborg, who somehow got the ball. I believe the ball was fumbled up along the far side. Fayborg tried to be creative. He turned what was potentially a loss there and said he gained 20 more yards.
Yeah, that put him in really great field position there at the 43-yard line, it looks like it's going to be. He was back in the 20-yard line going back and forth trying to run away from the defense and was able to do a great job and move forward. And so this will give great field position for the Tahquitz offense.
Don't know if it was something that they had up their sleeve, but nonetheless, they'll take it. But there's a personal foul call. Add 15 more on the play. It was a late flag call against the Tigers that'll turn what would have been a fumble, recovered maybe by San Jacinto, maybe down at the 20. All of a sudden, tack on 50 more after the unusual play, and that puts him into Tiger territory.
Yeah, speaking of great field position, that is awesome field position. Starting your drive in your opponent's territory, you can't ask for better field position than that.
So after the personal foul penalty, it's a 1st down and 10 with 5:52 to go in this first half. Very nice weather indeed here on homecoming night. Vegas Lights is the theme here for homecoming 2012. On 1st down and 10, Moreno here in the shotgun. 2 receivers in the back. Jonte Price here with the handoff up along the near side, trying to find a couple of holes, but instead sees a ton of white jerseys, runs right into him, gains about 3 on the play.
Yeah, and Manny, I think this game is, it may be this way the entire 48 minutes, just going back and forth, back and forth. And time of possession, I think you mentioned that earlier, I think that's going to be the key to this game. Whoever holds the ball in the last 2 minutes may just be walking away with a W.
Moreno here takes a pass, or takes a snap on the shotgun. Pass is intercepted by Ty Hickson, he stuck a hand right in front of Michael Stewart, and that's only his 2nd interception on the season. The ball now goes the other way.
Yeah, Benjamin Moreno threw that ball into double coverage again on this play, and Ty Hickson with a great interception. He kind of tipped the ball to himself as he was falling to the ground, and the ball kind of fell right in his chest, and he just cradled it and great play there by the defense, now bringing back the San Jacinto offense.
So let's see how the Titans respond after the pick. More importantly, the Tigers did get the lead in the beginning, starting on a 7-0 one-play touchdown run. A whistle and a flag on the play. It's called by one of the back judges. Referees conferring about the penalty as they break out. I believe he's going towards the sideline. They're going to say it's a sideline warning called. And you see one of the assistant coaches to talk about the issue. So they're going to say it's a sideline warning. In high school football, you're given 4, and after the 4th, the coach is ejected. But even after the 1st or 2nd, it is yardage penalty. So the first one is just a warning, and they actually gave it to both sides, as a matter of fact. So regardless, here now, we start on 1st down and 10, back in the bunch formation. A whistle and another flag on the play, and it's a false start call here against the Tigers.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want, to start your drive deep in your own territory. Getting that false start flag against you pushes you back just a little bit more. The closer you are to your own end zone, the more difficult it is to bring that ball out and have a successful drive. So that's a big break there for the Tahquitz defense.
So now 1st down and 15, up along the 14-yard line, back in the bunch formation. The pitch out up along the far side, given to Kimbrough. And the Tahquitz defense on top of him there. Maybe a gain of about 1, though it's going to be 2nd and long.
It looks like it was a no gain on that one. Great stop there by the defense. Again, that front defensive line pushing back San Jacinto and able to combat their strength.
Under 5 minutes to go here in the first half of play. You see on the top of your screen, the Titans have 2 timeouts while San Jacinto has 1. On the shotgun formation, botch snapped. Murrieta falls on top of it. A ruined play, and now it'll set up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, that's a completely wasted play there by San Jacinto. Losing some more yardage. Tahquitz had that small window of opportunity of just grabbing that ball and being 5 yards away from the end zone. Luckily for San Jacinto, P.J. Murrieta fell on top of that ball. But again, this is a very successful defensive stand by Tahquitz if they can also get a stop here on 3rd down.
Interesting play call to see what they might do here on 3rd down and very long up along the back of the end zone. On the shotgun, Murrieta dropping back, a long pass up along the far side. Goes over the head of the receiver and out of bounds, incomplete. 3 and out here, forced by the Titans. And on the punt, they will probably get very decent field position.
Yeah, you definitely would expect a punt here, being 4th and very long, 5 yards. Just pretty much right in their end zone. The punter is going to be punting from the back of the end zone. This also gives Tahquitz a chance to possibly block this punt. Wouldn't put him past them.
Yeah, when you're back deep in your own end zone to force out a punt, you're not really given a lot of space for the punt block. But it's a line drive punt. It'll take a small Tiger bounce, hover around the 45, and it'll be down at the 46. As mentioned, very decent field position here for the Titans now, setting up 1st down and 10, 46 yards away from the goal line. 3:31 to go, and we've seen this situation before where when they're given the ball near to the end of the 2nd quarter, more often than not, they end up putting it over that pylon here for a touchdown. But very interesting situation here, but this time on a tie ball game, clock management most likely is crucial.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial for Tahquitz here. Again, they started the last drive with this exact field position. Benjamin Moreno threw an interception. Let's see if he can shake that off.
Bryce here doing a little shake and bake and gains about 5 yards after the final spin move as he's brought down inside the 41. Clock here ticking. 3:18 and counting to go in this first half. Again, the Titans here with 2 timeouts, and it's a matter of how they manage to work out this clock. And they could be the team that could end this first half with the ball if they really play it well. 2nd down and 6. Moreno in the shotgun. Price in the backfield. He shifts to the right-hand side. Takes a snap, fires it up the middle. Pass complete to Boyd. Boyd escapes a tackle, but then gets shoestringed at the 25. A big gain, moving the chains. 1st down and 10.
That was a great pass play there by Benjamin Moreno. He read the zone defense very well. Mytorius Boyd was able to find a good spot within that zone. Kind of just hung out there till Moreno caught him and threw the pass right in his chest and got some extra yardage.
Clock ticking here, 2:40 to go in the first half. Moreno will take the snap on the shotgun, firing it up the far side, and it's nearly picked off. A flag on the play. I believe the defender had a hand on Tavares. Would have been an uncatchable ball, as a matter of fact, but they're going to say it's a PI penalty.
Yeah, I definitely saw the small push off there by the defender. Definitely good job there by Boyd to draw the flag as well.
Referees have not made a signal yet. They're going to say it's pass interference called against the defense, so move them up 15 yards. And an interesting call. It was an obvious pass interference call, but that ball was uncatchable. There was really no chance for Tavares to make a catch. If the defender would have laid a handoff, it would have been easy incomplete.
Yeah, I think so. The defender was playing the ball, and so he did a good job of being in Tavares' way, so Tavares would not have been able to get to that ball.
So now 1st down and 10, another flag on the play as it's called by the far side judge. And I believe it's going to be a false start penalty. Another sideline warning this time called against the Tigers. And I believe it might be their 2nd one. And that will, no, they're going to say they're going to keep the ball at the 13.
So I guess it is their first sideline warning since it didn't really cost them any yardage.
So 1 on each side here. 1st down and 10 up at the 13. Moreno in the shotgun with Price in the backfield. Price will take the handoff up the middle and then gets taken down short of the 10-yard line. Gain of maybe about 2.
And the key thing here for the offense, they've got to keep in mind that they do have a chance to gain a 1st down. The 1st down marker is at the 3-yard line, so they shouldn't necessarily concentrate on the end zone here. They should concentrate on at least getting the 1st down and still working that clock to bring it as close to 0 as possible.
Under 2 minutes to go. They have not elected to use any of their 2 timeouts. Moreno here rolling out. Great block by Peters to set up what could be a good run, but instead Moreno gets forced into the sidelines for a gain of 1. Chugga, chugga, shoot, shoot. Derek Peters for the block.
Yeah, Derek Peters put a hurt on him. I mean, Benjamin Moreno would have maybe gotten a no gain or would have lost some yardage on that one, but Derek Peters with the lead block there just trucked right through that defender, shoulder first, knocked him on his behind.
So Moreno gets tackled out of bounds, and that does stop the clock, so that'll be in favor of the Tigers. A whistle and a timeout called by the Titans. We'll keep it right here, 1:48 to go. As we will get back out of the timeout, it'll set up here 3rd down and 7. Once again, decision time here for Dennis Gregovich to see what he can do. It is along the near hash mark. You know, do you give the ball to Jonte and run up the middle, or do you go maybe for another pass play to see what you can come up with in the air?
Yeah, here it's 3rd and 7. So I think maybe you kind of go back to your bread and butter with Jonte Price, try to run it up the middle, set up for a better position for that field goal. But knowing Mr. Gregovich, he always has something up his sleeve. You never know. He may try to go with a play action here, maybe an option play, try to keep the defense on their toes and possibly go into the end zone. So you never know. I mean, I would play it safe. Just to at least try to go into halftime with the lead because you will be receiving the ball to start the second half. So we'll see what Gregovich has set up here.
You see Price on the field here, 3rd down and 7. Moreno back in the shotgun, 2 receivers on his left. They're going to elect to pass here, dropping back, the line collapsing, looking for Jonte Price for maybe a completion, but he could not reach the ball. 4th down and 7. The Tigers get the stop, and more importantly, the clock will shut off. 1:42 to go with the clock not running.
Yeah, that was abysmal blocking there by Tahquitz. He had 4 rushers on top of Moreno so quickly. They were able to shed those blocks so quickly, and Benjamin Moreno panicked a little bit, was able to get rid of the ball. So this will allow Tahquitz to set up for a field goal.
So the Titans will go for a 23, maybe 28-yard field goal. The kick is up. It is far and straight enough, and it is good. So the Titans regain the lead. But I don't think that's what Dennis Gregovich wanted. He really wanted that touchdown, and he iterated that, and now he's really telling a few words here to this offense.
Yeah, I think that's a small victory there for the San Jacinto defense, giving up 2 touchdowns in the first 2 drives, allowing Tahquitz to have great field position on these last 2 drives, but only holding them to 3 points instead of that touchdown is big for San Jacinto. Also, they have possibly enough time to come back and score.
And I mean, we've seen it here today. It only took them 1 play in that first quarter to break free into the end zone. They've got 1:35 left and also 1 timeout. That 3rd down conversion by the Titans was crucial on the incompletion because that did stop the clock. That maybe would have shaved off 30 to 40 seconds if they did not want to use the timeout. On the kickoff, special teams will not go for much of a gain as the receivers tackled down along the sideline at the 34. So only about 5 seconds came off the clock, exactly 90 seconds to go here in the first half of play. So
the Tahquitz defense here is gonna need to have another big stand like they did in the last drive. San Jacinto has okay field position with about 1:30 left on the clock. Tahquitz defense is really, really going to have to try to push them back.
So a 17-14 ball game again, 1:30 to go. Back in the bunch formation, taking the handoff. This time around is Kimbrough, fumble on the play. A big pileup up along the far side. Tahquitz says they have it. On the recovery, Detroit Crawford, who forced out the fumble, actually recovered, as a matter of fact. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Detroit Crawford was trying to make a tackle for loss there into a big play. He drops the ball, Crawford does, and the Tahquitz defense was right there on top of him. They were able to get on top of that ball. And again, as I just mentioned a few seconds ago, Tahquitz defense needs to have a huge stand here and push them back. And that's exactly what they did, forcing the fumble and recovering it.
And only took them 1 play as well. An unbelievable play, and it's a turn of events. On the reverse, the double reverse. Here's Moreno, wide open. The Tavares in for the touchdown! My goodness! Tricks up his sleeve. Into the house. Touchdown Titans.
Oh my God, what a beautiful play. Trickery by Mr. Gregovich again. Direct snap to Michael Stewart, the double reverse to Moreno, and you see Tavares, he had so much space in the end zone. The closest defender was at least 30 yards away from him.
Oh my goodness, now they're gonna shift here for a potential 2-point conversion. They set up for 1, now here they go. 23-14 ball game, a high snap. Looking for a receiver wide open, it's picked off. So they'll fail the 2-point conversion, but I think they'll take the 6 anyway. What would have been a 17-14 ball game after a field goal, maybe, stop on one last play. Unbelievable turn of events. A 9-point swing in only about 15 seconds gives the Titans a 2-possession lead.
Yeah, the Titans with great play call there. keeping the defense on their toes. The defense is expecting a run. That's all Tahquitz has been doing this entire game. And just that one play, they were like, well, Michael Stewart's going to get this direct snap. He's going to run for it. Nope. Double reverse. Benjamin Moreno comes out from the receiver position, comes back into the quarterback, gets the ball to the wide open Tavares. That's a great play there.
And
great play.
And the thing is that once you saw the reverse and maybe the double reverse, it's funny because San Jacinto, they read it pretty well, but once Moreno got the ball, all bets were off, and you saw Tavares wide open, nobody around him, maybe 10, 15 yards with no white jerseys all over him. Easy touchdown for the Titans. Ball touched on the kickoff, and the Tigers barely fall on top of the ball. Would have been another big break. Another big break for the Titans, but instead the Tigers will recover.
Yeah, it looks like the Tigers are a little rattled right now after that fumble and touchdown by Tahquitz. Fumbled the ball again on this kickoff. Tahquitz is doing a great job of getting in their heads.
9 unanswered points in a matter of 15 seconds.
And I would have loved to be in Tavares' head on that play there. He's like, I have to catch this ball. I have to catch this ball.
And it's funny because you could tell because he was shaking a little bit when he was trying to make the catch too. A whistle and a timeout called by San Jacinto. That's their last timeout. An interesting call to take their timeout with the clock stopped.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they had plenty of time to come up with the play. Maybe they weren't comfortable with the defensive setup that Tahquitz had on that, but I would think you'd want to save that timeout after maybe a big run play to try to, get a score before the end of the half. But very, very interesting call here by San Jacinto.
Believe by the looks of it, head coach Bill Powell maybe had seen something that he didn't like from the Tahquitz defense, but they're coming out in the exact same formation. 66 seconds to go in this second quarter. A 9-point swing has given the Titans a 2-possession lead. On the pitch out, here is Crawford, who gets tackled for a loss. Correction, it was Malik Kimbrough who gets pushed along the backfield. Clock still ticking, under 50 to go.
Yeah, and you can feel the momentum is completely 100% on Tahquitz's side right now. Kimbrough, who was doing a great job earlier in this game, breaking for some pretty big gains, but the Tahquitz defense again on top of him there. They have not been able to gain any yardage in their last 3 drives. They've gotten backwards every single time.
Believe the Tigers will probably go for maybe one more play depending on where they're set up. Second down and very long. Instead, they go for the play action. Brought down, ball coughed up. Tahquitz recovers inside the 10, taking it into the end zone for the touchdown. You have got to be kidding me!
Oh my goodness. This Tahquitz defense is ridiculous. Another fumble recovery, this time taking it to the house. I am speechless. As Manny throws his papers up in the air in awe and shock. Tahquitz defense again forcing another fumble. This time getting the recovery all the way. Had great blocking on that recovery and were able to put another 6 points. That is, 15 unanswered points right now.
In a matter of under 2 minutes. I'm looking at my clock, maybe a minute and 30. 14-14 was the score with about a minute 30 left. All of a sudden, it is 29-14, pending the 2-point conversion. Jonte Price on the handoff, crosses the goal line, add 2 more. It goes now to a 3-possession game at 31-14.
Tahquitz is doing an incredible job here. Going into this game, we mentioned these are 2 very, very high-powered offenses who can break for big gains at any moment with their running game. But Tahquitz defense gave up 14 points and said, not anymore. 2 forced fumbles in the last 2 drives. The drive before that, they forced San Jacinto to lose about 20 yards. So they have not allowed a yard forward for San Jacinto in the last 3 drives.
I think you can just mistakes. I mean, really, you could say Tahquitz, they'll take the points, but really, you can count it to the mistakes committed by San Jacinto on the short kickoff, taken and down at the 42. You go back to that last play. 2 things: the delay of penalty, the delay of game penalty that really set up another big drive by the Titans, and then this time, just now, electing to pass on second down really would have been just maybe going one more run play, end the half down by 9. Instead, they elect to pass. They took on the blitz, forcing the fumble, and it made it forced out another big mistake.
Yeah, you're right, Manny. The play calling here, it's been not favorable for San Jacinto. They probably should have gone with the run, even though Tahquitz has been doing a great job with the running these last couple drives. But that pass call, I believe there was absolutely no need for it. It caused a fumble, another 7 points up for the Tahquitz defense. And you like to call them the steel curtain. There's got to be something stronger than steel, and that's what Tahquitz is.
Well, we'll try to figure out on the break. 17 unanswered points in a matter of a minute and 30 seconds. Tahquitz would have been a 14-14 ball game, instead has turned into a 31-14 outburst with all momentum on the Titans sideline. We'll take a halftime break here. We'll taking a timeout right here. This is high school football right here on PlayOnSports.com. Do not go anywhere. Second half coming up right after this. Welcome back here to Tahquitz High School in Titan Stadium here in Hemet, California. Alongside here, Joel Diaz, Manny News, making the call on this one to the left to meet my good man, Timmy Tim Barker, man in the computer, and upstairs, moving the camera back and forth. That is our good guy in Jonathan Silva. Joel, I am still scratching my head and kind of trying to just figure out what happened in those last minute and 30 seconds. A 14-14 ball game would have been maybe, they kick the field goal, make it 17-14, but all of a sudden, I take a nap, I look up, all of a sudden, I see 2 more touchdowns scored in a matter of 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah, with a minute and 35 seconds left in the half, San Jacinto offense just completely broke down. They were rattled. They didn't know what was going on. They were pushed back so far into their own territory. 2 fumbles in a row. I don't know what happened there. It's unexplainable. San Jacinto just completely lost confidence. Tahquitz defense was in their head with their big stops there towards the end. And within a minute and 35 seconds, you go from 17-14 to 31-14. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, a matter of a turn of events. And just everything falling into the Titans' way. And, we said this before the break, and you can really pin it down on the biggest play call, I think. Aside from the first fumble that was forced out by the running back, Detroit Crawford. But you look at that same drive, they ended up electing to use a timeout when the clock was stopped on first down. 2 plays later, Crawford cops up the ball. The Titans score on 1 play. Second time around, 30 seconds left. They're out of timeouts. They elect to pass anyway when they're 7 yards away from the end zone. Questionable calls by Bill Powell all of a sudden turns into 14 unanswered points.
Yeah, and, now being down by 3 possessions, it's going to be very difficult for San Jacinto to get back into this game now that Tahquitz has all momentum on their side. 100% of momentum is on Tahquitz's side right now. And it's really hard to deal with. We've seen that in previous games. Once they have that momentum, once they have that confidence and say, hey, we've got them where we want them, it's really, really difficult to stop them, as you can see by their 46.7 points per game so far this season.
And the thing is that, you look at a game like this, and it would have been a very tight thing at halftime. And, a lot of the points that they've really scored throughout the season have more or less come on big plays, especially from those. That was only their second defensive return for a touchdown, and it's come from back-to-back weeks. On the handoff, Jonte Price breaking a tackle and then runs into a pile and gains about 2 yards, maybe 3 on the play here, setting up second down and 7. I mean, this, in all reality, is a team effort. We've said Jonte Price's name a lot, but he's only had 1 rushing touchdown tonight. The rest of the way has come really on just a lot of mixes. The defense has obviously scored 1. Moreno's thrown a few touchdown passes. Peters has crossed the goal line. This has been just really a mix of everything here tonight.
Yeah, Jonte Price has been stopped a little bit here. Well, not stopped, but slowed down by the San Jacinto defense. And that always calls for other playmakers to step up. And we've seen that in the offense. Derek Peters also scored a rushing touchdown. Benjamin Moreno hasn't really done much. I think he's had a couple passing plays here, and as there's the flag on the play against San Jacinto, personal foul call. So that's 15 yards there. Another big break for Tahquitz, as we were talking about. San Jacinto's just digging their own grave so far.
Yeah, they're making it much more difficult for a potential comeback if Tahquitz ends up, and they've really done a very good job tonight taking advantage of just a huge number of Tiger mistakes tonight. Back into Tiger territory, first down and 10 at the 43. It's Price on the handoff, who dives to the 35, a gain of about 8 yards. Correction, it's Derek Peters there on the handoff here, second down and 2. And it's not like Tahquitz has taken complete control. It's just been really, taking control of every mistake that the Tigers have handed to him.
Yeah, and Tahquitz is doing a great job, more specifically on defense tonight. They've done great on slowing down other offenses, but this time they're pushing really hard. Forcing turnovers is something that we have not really seen from the Tahquitz defense this season, but tonight they have forced 2 fumbles. Last game, they had a couple fumbles as well, and an interception that was returned for a touchdown. And so we're seeing that the Tahquitz defense is getting more and more confidence each game.
Jonte Price on the 3-yard gain. Enough for the first down on 1st and 10. Derek Peters hurdling over a block and then finds his way down at the 25. A gain of maybe about, I'd say, 6. It'll set up here 2nd down and about 4.
And we see Tahquitz here going to the hurry up. It's something that they've been using a lot so far in this game.
Jonte Price again on the handoff, runs into the white wall and then gets pushed back, but not before forward progress. Another flag on the play after the whistle. There's been a lot of this here tonight, and most of it has gone against the Tigers. Another personal foul call, penalty against San Jacinto. Tack up 15 more. 30 yards have come on the freebie.
Yeah, that's 2 personal foul penalties called in this drive alone. That's 30 yards in favor of Tahquitz. You don't need to be giving Tahquitz any more yardage because as we both know and everyone here knows, these guys can get it on their own very fast, very quickly. They move the ball very effectively. Why help them with 15 extra yards here with this penalty?
Whiston, I believe maybe a timeout. Yes, as both teams will be heading down towards the sideline. It's going to be a timeout called by the Tigers, and I think it's a smart one here by Bill Pell to regroup his troops. And like you said, you give a team 30 free yards. This drive, it started up around the 40 to 35, and 30 yards more. You can essentially say that this drive really started maybe close to the 30, because really Tahquitz hasn't really tried all that much, maybe gaining about 15 yards in total, but they've really kind of taken, again, complete control because of the penalties here, especially on this drive.
Yeah, they only had a few runs here with Jonte Price and Derek Peters gaining some yardage, but 30 yards in penalties is what's brought them into San Jacinto territory, into the red zone, getting ready to put up some more points.
So breaking out of the timeout here. The Titans getting the ball back here. 1st down and 10 with the ball at the 14. Marino back in the shotgun. Tavares will take the reverse up at the 10 and then runs into the pile and brought down at the 8. So gain of a few yards, 5 to be exact. 2nd down and 5 yards to go.
And some slight trickery there by Dennis Gregorovich with the reverse run. As we saw earlier, they had the crazy double reverse play for a touchdown pass. Trying to pull something out like that again.
So now 2nd down and about 5 at the 8. Peters with the handoff, juking. Fights for a few more yards, spinning over, trying to hurdle over the goal line. They're going to say he's just about a half-yard short of the end zone, but a great effort by Derek Peters. Back out of the no huddle here. 1st down and goal, about a yard away. Clock now rewinding, under 9:05 to go in the 3rd. Peters with the handoff. He crosses the end zone, and he gets into the end zone for 6. Touchdown Titans, taking it to the house.
Another great job by this offensive squad for Tahquitz. Derek Peters, the key play on this drive was there at the end. Derek Peters showed effort. He was focused. He said, I am going to force my way through as close to the end zone as I can. He almost got the touchdown on that one run, got it to the 1-yard line. Key thing in that was that they were able to get the 1st down. It was 1st down and goal with only a yard to go. You have 3 downs to work with to force it into the end zone. Of course, go to the run game. Derek Peters pushed right through again, getting that score.
37-14 is the score against one of their toughest opponents they've seen all year long, and San Jacinto. We'll take a timeout right here. This is high school football right here on PlayOnSports.com, where high school sports lives right here.
Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us at Play On Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Back in action here in this one, a 37-14 ball game, 23-point lead for the Tahquitz Titans. And, again, saying it before, if you're just joining us, it was a 14.2 touchdown swing, what would have been a 17-14 halftime lead for the Titans. All of a sudden is broken free. And in all reality, you look at the scoreboard up right now, you can say 3 touchdowns in maybe the last 4 to 5 minutes for this Titan team. On the kickoff, a short one down at the 38, and that's where the drive will start for the Tigers. First down and 10, about now 62 yards away from the goal line.
Yeah, you could see Jacinto's also getting a little snappy. You saw a little bit of pushing there at the end of that play. And you also look back, they gave up 2 personal foul penalties on the last drive. Looks like Jacinto's coming out a little angry, and it's showing on the field, but it's affecting them negatively, not the way that they should be angry. There's a positive anger that motivates you to win, but not the way they're playing right now.
So back out of the huddle here, first down and 10, with the ball driving at the 38. On the pitchback, here is Kimbrough up along the far side, taken down for a gain of about maybe 2 yards on the play. Second down and 8. And like you said, you hit the nail on the coffin, Joel. They are playing with a lot of, angry is one thing, but I really think those 2 personal foul penalties, especially when you give up a lead like that, I can really say it's more or less a lot of frustration. They're really just kind of taking it the wrong way on this Tahquitz team. So now on second down, they hand off back to Kimbrough. Along the far side, it was actually a quarterback sneak, but instead it's gone for a no gain.
Yeah, and again, Tahquitz defense, that defensive line with the big stop on the last couple run plays. This makes it third down and about 7 or 8 yards for Jacinto. And in the last 4 to 5 drives, Jacinto has only been able to gain this few yardage, 2-3 yards so far.
It's now third down and long. They're going to drop back to pass. Here is Murrieta. Ball is loose, but Murrieta falls on top of it. Another sack for the Titans, and they force a 3 and out.
Wow, another great defensive play there by Tahquitz. They are just jumping all over P.J. Murrieta. I believe that's their 4th sack in this game. Luckily for Murrieta, he was able to hold on to that ball and not cough it up again like they have been. But Jacinto is not looking like a team that wants to come back right now.
It is punted away. Here is the returner, Tim Neely, who coughs up the football, but Tahquitz does recover. 7 minutes to go in this one. The Titans will take the ball here. First down and 10 up at the 36.
Yeah, Tahquitz is we're gonna see what they're gonna do here. They were able to move down the field very effectively. Those penalties also allowed them to get 30 yards extra on top of that drive. But we're gonna see what Benjamin Moreno and his very, very effective weapons are gonna do here on this drive.
Right here on the handoff, first down and 10. Jonte Price takes it for about a 4-yard gain. It'll set up now second down and 6. At this point here, they've been in this road before, but they've never taken on a team that's really that's come in with a lot of experience. Timeout here called by the Tahquitz Titans. We'll keep it right here. It is a 23-point lead, and now the question goes of obviously you don't want to bring down the guns right away, obviously. But at the same time, it's, how quick do you want to score? Because this team in the last, it's been countless games since this team has really put up a lot, the mercy rule. And although it might be too early to say this right now, you're up 23. I think you look at this team right now, I believe Gregovich is saying, hey, this is our chance to maybe put them away. You score 2 more times, get 1 more stop, but there's a good chance you'll walk away with the victory with 1 quarter to go.
Yeah, Tahquitz has, I guess you could say, mercy ruled 2 teams so far this season. They did it against Rubidoux, and they did it last week against Hemet. So we're going to see only 12 points away from pulling it off again. Tahquitz, as we mentioned earlier, can score and score fast. So we're going to see if that's what Gregovich wants to do go into the fourth quarter with a big lead like that.
This time on second down, they're going to elect to pass. Michael Stewart trying to use his springs and barely escapes a tackle, but instead gets brought down for about a gain of 7. A whistle and a flag on the play. And we've seen this before where you try to jump over a defender. It is a penalty. But we'll see what the call is right here. The flag, I believe, is along the near side. Referees are conferring to see what the call is. They're going to waive the penalty. So it is a first down nonetheless. I believe no. They're going to say it's second down, and no, they're going to say it is a first down anyway. So he got just enough on the high hurdle.
Yeah, he hurdled over the defender there just enough for the first down. Good awareness by Michael Stewart knowing where the first down marker was.
So 37-14, clock ticking now, 6:30 to go. On the handoff, here's Jonte Price, who gains about a yard or two on the play. You got a new quarterback, actually, up in the huddle, and Fernando Blanco, who's taken a few snaps.
It's surprising to see Fernando Blanco in this game as early as the third quarter. Normally they'd put him in, in the fourth quarter after a blowout, but maybe Gregovich is showing a little confidence here in his second-string quarterback.
Want to see what he can do here. Peters here with, no, it's going to be Blanco who takes the quarterback sneak. Hey, how about that? Up along the sideline, a gain of about 3, but like you said, there's the confidence that, give him play like that, especially against a team like the Tigers deep into this game. A lot of trust in that guy.
Yeah, definitely. They're only, you can say they're 23 points ahead. San Jacinto does have that powerful offense who can, burst at any second. But it's great that Gregovich is having this confidence in his second-string quarterback.
On the handoff again, Jonte Price, who appears to be short of the first down marker. They're going to say he's half a yard shy. So they're going to set him now fourth down and short, and they will be going for it. Deep enough, obviously, to punt, but if you're half a yard short, might as well be the team with the ball anyway. Blanco takes the snap, Price with the handoff, and he gets stopped behind the line. It'll be a turnover on downs, and the Titans will give the ball right back.
I don't know, that was a tough call there. That was a pretty, not that great of a spot by the referees. I saw a push there at the end by Price that might have put him over the first down marker, but it looks like the referees didn't catch that one. There were so many guys on top of him, they couldn't see that final push before he was down. But that's a break there for San Jacinto because that would have been another first down.
Yeah, maybe they might have seen a knee go down before the final push, but nonetheless, they'll take the turnover on downs anyway, so the ball goes the other way, first down and 10. At the score, if they want to get in this game, they got to do it right on this drive. On the triple option, there is Tahquitz on their defensive stand.
That was a huge tackle. He lifted the runner off his feet and took him down behind the line of scrimmage. Another tackle for loss here by the Tahquitz defense. They are just dominating San Jacinto right now.
Second down and 11 after the 1.5 to 2 yard, actually second down and 12 on the 2-yard loss. They're going to say it's an exactly push back about 2 yards around the play. Defensive line on the shift. They move to the left-hand side. Here's Myriad on the shotgun throw to the left side, incomplete over the hands of Tanner Bootsma, incomplete.
Yeah, going back to the Tahquitz defense, we've, whether it's the defensive coordinator or Gregovich's play calling for the defense, they're doing a phenomenal job. They're blitzing. They're running different blitz packages here against P.J. Murrieta, rattling him a little bit. They've had about 4 sacks already, a lot of tackle for losses, and it's all working for them, and they've been doing it with the 3-4 defense throughout this entire game.
So now on third down and long, here's Murrieta finding a receiver, pass complete up along the far side. It was complete to Crawford as he's brought down well short of the first down. So on the 6-yard gain, here comes the punting unit for San Jacinto.
Great stop again by the Tahquitz defense, not allowing San Jacinto to get a first down. That's 2 drives in a row where they won't even let them step foot within Tahquitz territory.
So the Tigers here going on the punt. The snap, the kick, it's booted away. It's a deep, high one down to Neely, who can't control the ball. Bounces into the end zone. Ball is loose. And he's brought down at the 2. A costly play. Neely should have just let that one go. Would have actually taken a big bounce into the end zone. But instead, he actually just took the ball out of the end zone and avoided the safety.
Tahquitz got lucky on that one. They caught a break. Tim Neely with the fumble, with the muffed punt there, and lost the ball in the end zone. That would have been a horrible, horrible turn of events for Tahquitz, but luckily for them, they were just able to get that out of the end zone. It is now inside their own 1-yard line.
So now it's a game changer here, as it's now 1st down and 10 on near the back of the end zone. On the handoff, it's well enough for a first down. A quick run play here by Derek Peters, bursting free, gaining about 12, and they avoid the trouble.
Yeah, Derek Peters was 1 tackler away from breaking for a 99-yard rushing touchdown on that one. But San Jacinto was able to wrap him up well and bring him down, but still he was able to get that first down.
Back now on 1st down and 10. Here is Price on the handoff. Shake and a bake. Moving those legs for a 9-yard gain. No, it's a first. No, they're going to say it's a 2nd down and a short one, but nice footwork. No, another for. Okay, so they're going to say it's 1st down. 9, 10, 9. Flipping back and forth. They're going to give him the first down anyway.
Yeah, Jonte Price there, juking left, juking right. Was able to get that first down, showing amazing footwork and acceleration.
Joel, put down that video game control. On the handoff, couple of yards there by Derek Peters on the play. Gain of about 6, setting up now 2nd down and 4. And, I feel like I'm kind of, controlling the game well with such movement here by both Jonte Price and Derek Peters, really trying to turning what would be a short gain, using the line very well, and they turn into moderately big gains and, setting up that offense very well.
Yeah, Tahquitz has been able to use both their key running backs effectively. Normally they go heavily with Jonte Price, but in this game they've been going Jonte Peters. Almost every down they've been switching back and forth, and it's been really effective nickeling and diming that defense in order to move those chains.
Jonte Price on the handoff in the previous play, spinning over the 1st down marker and dives for a 3-yard gain. Moving the chains now, setting up 1st down and 10 with the ball at the 34. Back in the shotgun, Blanco is the new quarterback. Jonte Price in the backfield. Receivers on the left and the right, calling up the motion. Stewart moving. He'll take the handoff and runs towards the near side, stiff arm, and then runs out of bounds for a gain of about 1.
Yeah, interesting play call on that one. Handing it off to Michael Stewart. If it wasn't for that stiff arm, he would have been brought down to the backfield, but he was able to get back to the line of scrimmage. I guess you could call it a wasted play there, but it's always interesting the play calls that Gregovich comes up with.
You look at the sideline, as a matter of fact, Marino is not in pads. We'll see if we can get an update on that in a minute. Blanco, who goes on the quarterback sneak after the play action, gaining of about 2-3 yards. He seems to be maybe okay. He's got an ice pack on his shoulder. Not sure if it's an injury or he might be just done for the day as a precautionary measure. But he seemed to be okay going into halftime. Wasn't taking too many hits. So if it is a sit down here, it would be an interesting play call. Stewart here trying to take the pass from Blanco, goes over his hands and incomplete, and that'll bring out the punting unit here for the Titans.
Yeah, it's always tough if it is an injury. We're hoping it's not, but if it is, it's always tough to lose your starting quarterback, especially going into such a difficult league. Hopefully it's nothing too serious if that's what it is. If they just took him out of the game to allow Blanco to play here for a while, seeing that the defense has been dominating so much, it would be a bold move, I guess, by Gregovich to go with the second string in the second half.
On the punt, taking a Titan bounce as it hovers around the 30 and down at the 29. 38 seconds left to go. They didn't get any much more than about 15, 16 yards on that play, but they controlled the clock and they ticked it down to nearly under a minute in this third quarter of play. We'll take a quick timeout. Actually, no, we'll keep it right here as Hemet will head down to the field here on 1st down and 10. 38 seconds to go. Again, a 37-14 ball game where most of this scoring, in fact, all of the scoring has come from the first and second quarter. 1st down and 10 as the Tigers break out of the huddle. Marietta here in the shotgun with a single back to his right. Takes a snap, dropping back, fires up over to the far side. Pass complete. Defense pouncing on the guy and as he's brought down for about a gain of 6.
Yeah, pass complete there to Tanner Bootsma, another one of San Jacinto's captains. He actually plays 3 positions, quarterback, receiver, and defensive back.
You talk about an Iron Man athlete, and you see a lot of that in high school football where since you're near your prime in high school football, you tend to play more than 1, if not 2 positions. Under 5 seconds to go, they elect to go for one more play. Murrieta gets the 1st down and then fights. As a matter of fact, it's a correction. It's Mario Rubio who takes it along the far side and gains a big one there at that for about 10 yards, and that'll end the third quarter of play. A 37-14 ball game. Another touchdown scored in the third, this time by Derek Peters. Take a timeout right here. This is high school football right here on PlayOnSports.com, where high school sports lives right here.
Tonight's third quarter was brought to you by Quality Plus Construction. With over 15 years of serving the commercial and retail industry in Southern California, Quality Plus Services will handle all of your maintenance and construction needs. Located at 1655 East 6th Street in Corona, California, call Quality Plus Services for your next project. Find out more information at www.qpfixme.com or call them at 888-QP-FIX-ME. That's 888-773-4963.
One more quarter to go here in this one. The Titans on top here by a score of 37-14. Alongside here, Joel Diaz-Mannion here making the call in this one. Back after the third quarter timeout. 1st down and 10 at the 45. On the handoff, there's the Tahquitz defense right on top of the runner for no gain.
Yeah, Crawford was brought down there at the line of scrimmage. Great job by the defense again. That defensive line making that wall, that impenetrable wall. They've been doing that so far. Only giving up 14 points in the first quarter, and then since then they haven't allowed San Jacinto to really gain any yardage. They've pushed them back a lot, and they've given up maybe 10 yards at most in the last 6 drives.
2nd down now and 9 yards to go. Marietta takes a snap, play action, throwing the ball along the far side. Pass complete. Up at the 50, juking over a few, gets the 1st down and fights as he's taken down at the 43.
Yeah, that was a great wide receiver screen there up in the far side of the field. Great blocking by the receivers. Normally, you think of the O-linemen doing great jobs on the blocks, but the receivers doing a good job there handling those blocks and allowing him to get that 1st down.
So clock here taken after the 1st down, 10:50 and counting to go in the 4th quarter. Murrieta takes a snap in the shotgun, stays in the pocket, quickly collapsing, and there's the sack, the 4th one of the day. And it's number 5 sacks, correction. And there is Laney Jackson Barrow who takes him down.
Yeah, it's 5 sacks by this Tahquitz defense. 2 forced fumbles. They're just phenomenal tonight. Phenomenal.
And this defensive line has done a very phenomenal job, like you said, reading the quarterback very well and seeing what he's doing, and they've really not been fooled by all these play actions. On second down this time, Murrieta rolls over on the near side. He'll take it himself and then runs out of bounds for a gain of about 5.
Yeah, actually, Mario Rubio on that play running the ball with the keeper was able to get about 5 yards. Again, this Tahquitz defense forcing a third down. This will be a big third down stop if they can get it. And just it seems that the momentum is just completely on their side. Jacinto can't figure out the defense. Even after they were able to score 14 quick points, they still, ever since then, they haven't been able to figure out what Tahquitz has changed.
So back out of the huddle here, third down and a long 12 yards to go. Takes a snap. Murrieta dropping back in the shotgun. Pass complete up along the middle. Up at the 40. Trying to fight for the first down. Keeps his balance on and then gets taken down at the 25. So that last effort, as he stayed upright, got the running back the first down.
Yeah, another screen play there by Jacinto. It looks like they're trying to figure out how to get some yardage on this defense, and it seems that with the screens they've been able to do that. The only 2 times that they were able to get a first down is through a wide receiver screen and now a running back screen on that play.
Clock here ticking, 9:30 and counting. Again, a 37-14 ball game. 1st and 10, about a few yards shy of the red zone. Pass complete down to Kimbrough. But Kimbrough gets brought down for about a gain of 4. Gain of 3. 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, that was a great tackle there by the defender. We know Kimbrough's very powerful and has tons of speed. He could have easily broken away, but it's a good job tackling him and bringing him down for only a gain of 2.
2nd down now and about 7 yards to go here. About 3 yards away from the red zone. Murrieta here in the shotgun, single back, takes a snap, fires up along the far side, pass complete. Looks like to be a gain of about 8-9 yards on the play. But they'll be shy the first down, so it'll be 3rd down now and 1.
Yeah, here's another 3rd down again. Tahquitz is going to need to hold them back. They've now allowed Jacinto to get into the red zone on that pass play to Bootsma. Bootsma tried to reach out with the ball, trying to get that first down at the last second, but it was just short.
So about 8-10 and counting to go in the 4th. Murrieta back in the shotgun here, 3rd down. On the handoff. Down to Kimbrough, who gets the first down. And that'll move the chains. So back inside the red zone, they'll continue the drive here after getting the 3rd down conversion. Now 13 yards away from that goal line.
And if they're able to get this into the end zone, it'll make this game just a little bit more interesting here as the clock's winding down. Is Tahquitz going to be able to hold on to this lead? We know Jacinto could put up points and put up points fast. They've been very successful on this drive, so momentum is starting to slowly shift away from Tahquitz here.
Right here on 1st down, the Tahquitz defense reading out Detroit Crawford well, could not go anywhere after being brought down for a loss of 2.
And that's what Tahquitz needs to do. Just continue getting those stops, continue pushing them back. But what Jacinto has been able to do on their play calls, they've switched it up a little bit, going to the air a little bit more than they were in the first half. This has allowed them to keep the defense on their heels just a bit. And so it's also allowed them to gain some yardage, and they're now, about 11 yards away from putting up some points.
Murrieta back in the shotgun. Pocket quickly collapsing. Another sack, number 6 on the evening. And right there on the play, Hector Quesada, who takes him down.
Another sack incredible. This defense just baffles me tonight. I have not seen this so far this year. They've done a great job. But in this game, as we mentioned at the start of the game, this game is huge for them. This game is huge both offensively and defensively for Tahquitz. And the Tahquitz defense just has been doing, again, going back to that word, phenomenal. They've been able to prove themselves saying, hey, we're ready for this league. We're ready to take on teams like Citrus Hill. We're ready to take on Beaumont. Citrus Hill only beat San Jacinto by 16, and Tahquitz is now up by 23 on these guys.
Uh-oh, all of a sudden a change of events as Murrieta finds a receiver, connects him, broke off a tackle, runs towards the far side, and he gets in for 6. Got a whole new ball game, folks. Don't go anywhere. The Tigers have now cut it to a 17-point lead, pending the extra point.
And Tanner Bootsma with a reception on that one, taking it into the end zone. But again, now this game is starting to get a little bit more interesting. Yeah, they're down by 3 possessions still, but it just shows that, hey, we can still score, is what San Jacinto's saying. We can score at any moment.
And if they don't get the 2-point conversion here, this game might be all but lost. They get it here, they'll cut it down to a 2-possession game. Murrieta here on the shotgun, dropping back, pocket collapsing, and then another sack, this time by Jackson Barrow, who keeps it at a 3-possession game. A big defensive stand there on the 2-point conversion, keeping it a 37-20 ball game.
Yeah, and sack number 7. These guys are incredible, bringing down the quarterback, reading what the offense is putting out on the field. Now with under 6 minutes left in this ball game, Tahquitz has the ball. You just got to know they're just going to be running it. Of course, you got Jonte, you got Derek Peters. Sometimes they go to Tavares. But that run game, use it. I would not put the ball up in the air. Just hand it off. Bring this clock down. You already got a 17-point lead. Just hold on to it.
On the other side here, after the touchdown, you have to maybe wonder of what the Tigers might do. It is a 3-score game. The game might be out of reach depending on what the Tigers will do, and obviously the Titans are in the pressure of most likely receiving a potential onside kick. The Tigers here spread out. Ball will be kicked away. It's a line drive that is touched by Tavares. No, they're going to say it actually went over his hand. If he would have touched it, he would have to go for the ball. Luckily, the referees didn't see him make any contact on the ball, so it'll be down in the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah, so Tahquitz, starting at the 20 here for this drive. Again, we mentioned they're under 6 minutes left in this ball game. You just really got to use those clock management skills. Granted, some of these guys can just bust out for a big run, which of course will just increase their lead. There's nothing wrong with that, but you definitely want to try to prevent San Jacinto's offense from getting back on that field, because now after that last touchdown, they say, hey, we know we can score, we know we can come back, we just need to be able to get our offense back on the field.
Blanco here in the shotgun. First down and 10. Ball handed off up along the near side. Here is Price trying to juke over. Flag on the play. Brought down for a few yards on the play, and the flag is thrown in again, the area of holding, and that'll bring it back about 10.
Yeah, it's a tough break there for Tahquitz. Great run by Jonte Price, but all for naught as there was a holding penalty. So it'll be about a first down and 20 here. First and 19, it looks.
So because it was in between 20 yards, they're going to say it's half the distance to the goal. Maybe, I don't know, 9 3/4 yards, but rounded up to 10 anyway. Let's just say it's a first down and 20 nonetheless. But if you're Tahquitz, I'll take the holding penalty anyway, because that run really, that kind of took off 10, 15 seconds off the clock. And with a lead like this, you'll definitely take losing time off the clock than maybe losing 10 yards.
Yeah, it's very true because it's still first down. They can easily get that yardage back if need be, but what it does is it keeps that clock running for an extra down.
So the clock does run, as a matter of fact, under 5:15 to go. Blanco back in the shotgun, loses the football but picks it up. He's got to run with it and then gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Luckily falling on top of the ball. Now sitting up here, second down and a very, very long 24.
And that's definitely something you don't want to do as an offense, is lose the ball here so close to the end, to your own end zone, because that's what San Jacinto's defense is looking for. They're looking for a turnover that can allow the momentum to shift completely and possibly bring them even closer into this ball game. And you definitely don't want to do that as Tahquitz.
Blanco takes the snap, ball handed off up the middle. This is Price along the near side at the 20, taken down at the 25. He gains nearly all those yards back. He's taken down about, looks to be 6 yards shy of a first down. Second and long now turns to a third and short.
Yeah, I guess the motto could be here, when in doubt, go to Price. He's been doing a great job this game of getting them out of tough yardage situations. And again, he did a good job there. They were 5 yards away from their own end zone, and now he brings it out to the 25 with a great 20-yard run.
Under 4:10 to go. Blanco takes a snap, thrown, almost picked off by Kimbrough. A second hand on the ball would have been an easy 6. A 3 and out, but a huge break.
Yeah, that would have been a pick 6 right there. He came out of nowhere, showing his hops on that play, got the hand on the ball, just couldn't quite get that second hand to bring the ball in for the interception, but he was gone. He was about 15 yards away from scoring if he had that ball. That would have been a tough break for Tahquitz, and that's what you want to try to avoid those turnovers.
Minute and a half came off the clock. A bounce, a favorable bounce that actually ends up in a Titan territories. It's down at the 48, at the Titan 48, as a matter of fact. About a minute and a half came off that clock, 3:57 to go, 3-score game.
Yeah, this is still a tough situation for San Jacinto. You just mentioned 3-score game with 3:57 on the clock. It's still really tough. They'd have to score a touchdown here, recover an onside, score another touchdown, possibly go for an onside again to get that field goal. So even still, Tahquitz is sitting in a pretty little spot here in the fourth quarter.
On the play action, pass complete to Kimbrough up along the sideline. Actually stays in bounds and worked around, getting down at about the 43-yard line. So second down now and about 4 on the 6-yard gain. But right now, the Tigers taking their time to go in between plays.
Yeah, you got to wonder what Eric Hill there, who on the reception, what he was doing. He should have gone out of bounds to stop the clock, but then that allows the clock to keep moving. Time is definitely not on the Tiger side right now.
On second down, this time handed off to Kimbrough, and Tahquitz on the defensive stand. Correction, it's Crawford on the run. And the Tahquitz defense once again making a big stop here, setting up now a third down conversion.
Yeah, and now they run the ball, which still continues, or allows the clock to continue ticking down. And now it's third down and 5 with the clock still moving, and you're down by 3 possessions.
It's now third down and 5. Murrieta dropping back, firing it up towards the near side. Looking for Hill, couldn't connect, incomplete.
Yeah, he was in good position there to make a play. PJ Murrieta just overthrew his receiver a little bit, so the ball fell incomplete. But this is 4 down territory, I believe. I would expect San Jacinto to go for it here on 4th down. I don't think they have another option.
So they will go for it here. 4th down and now 5 yards to go. This is make or break time here for the Tigers. 2:40 to go here in the 4th and final quarter. Murrieta dropping back, looking for the sack. He fires it up towards the far side. Pass is tipped. Incomplete. Trying to connect to Kimbrough. And the defensive stop forces now a turnover on downs.
That was such an important play there for the Tigers. Kimbrough had the ball in his hands, and he dropped it. That was a first down, great play. If he would have come down with that, it would have allowed them to go out of bounds, stop the clock, possibly get a chance to do something here. But now turnover on downs. Tahquitz pretty much has this one in the bag.
2:34 left to go. The Titans will retake the ball on offense after the turnover on downs. 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Barring a miracle, Tahquitz will most likely improve to 6-1 on the year and tripling their win total. Second string offense now on the field. Taking the snap is Diamond Parker, gaining about 3 yards. So again, barring any huge miracles, the Titans will improve to a 6-1 record. Really, even more importantly, 2-0 in the win column. Getting a couple of score updates, as a matter of fact. One score to mention, Hemet is beating West Valley 27-14. West Valley did lose last week. They're 0-1 as well as Hemet, but that's one of the teams that came in well over 500 into Mountain Pass League play. So now all of a sudden you bring Hemet back into the picture. Remember, 3 teams out of the 6 make the playoffs. Hemet ends up with the win today. They'll go 6-1, 2-0 in league play. At this point, if Hemet, does a little damage here, if Tahquitz gets a couple more wins here, they not only might make the playoffs, but they could have a really good chance of getting a very high seed if all goes well.
Yeah, definitely. Tahquitz now will be 2-0 after this game, barring any, as you mentioned, any miracles by the Tigers. But going 2-0 is huge for them with this Mountain Pass League being so competitive. As we mentioned earlier, they still have Citrus Hill, who is undefeated. They're 6-0. You've got Beaumont, who's doing a great job as well. Those are 2 teams that you really need to prepare for. And I think this game is huge preparation for that. As I mentioned earlier, the Tigers went down 30-14 to Citrus Hill. So this allows Tahquitz to say, hey, look what we did against San Jacinto. We can do that against Citrus Hill. Make this a really competitive ending for the playoff race in this league.
Clock here ticking, under 45 to go. Maybe have to run one more play. Blanco here in the shotgun. I believe they might have to take one more timeout to discuss things. Clock here ticking, under 25 to go now, and I believe there'll be a whistle and a delay of game penalty instead of the timeout. So 4th down, and actually it's a 4th down play anyway, so they're going to be electing to punt. Real quick, before we talk about our player of the game, let's talk about Tahquitz one more time. Going 2-0, they will be facing, I believe, West Valley next week, and the big game against Citrus Hill the week after. Here's the thing. The Tigers ended up losing, but they had the lead going into that 1st and 2nd quarter. It was tied going into halftime, and then all of a sudden, Citrus Hill made a 2-touchdown comeback to take the win. The Tigers are known to playing a full 48 minutes, and today they really took out a lot of momentum and they really controlled the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Titans almost completely shut down San Jacinto's offense. Gave up 14 points early in that 1st quarter. They were going back and forth. The Tigers scored first, Tahquitz scored, then Tahquitz, and then Tahquitz just kind of put a hurt on them after that. So if this defense and this offense can go in with the confidence that they went into this game, I think it's going to be really difficult to stop them. They did lose that one game to Murrieta Mesa, but they still put up 47 points. And since that game, the defense is just like, no, we are not letting anyone score on us, or we're going to they'll let them score very little, but they've done a great job besides that.
Final play goes for a few yards. The Titans improving to 6-1, 2-0 in Mountain Pass League play. They win it here by a final of 37-14 37-20 as a matter of fact. Before we select our player of the game, Joel, I'm thinking you know, it's a team effort, but I really want to give it to the big man who really just turned the game on a complete turn. And I want to say it's Talon Tavares who caught the double reverse touchdown.
Yeah, Tavares, I mean, was able to make himself wide open in the end zone, had no defenders around him. I mean, you've got to have that vision, that focus of saying, hey, I need to get myself open if we're going to do this trick play here. Tavares was able to do just that, made that big play, which was a complete momentum shift towards Tahquitz after that big play that Tavares made in the end zone.
So we'll talk to Talon Tavares as we'll bring him up on the booth. Once again, the Titans win it here by a final score of 37-20. Do not go anywhere, folks. Got an interview coming up in just a few. This is high school football right here on PlayOnSports.com, where high school sports lives right here.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1.
For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Welcome back here to PlayOnSports.com, and our man of the hour here, our player of the game, Talon Tavares. Only one touchdown, but the one touchdown that really changed the entire game. It was the double reverse play action, wide open in the end zone. I was talking to head coach Dennis Gregovich about this, and you guys have been working about this all week. You executed tonight. What was going through your mind as that play was happening from start to finish?
Well, when he had called it, I just knew that I had to make a statement for myself, and I knew I had to make the play to get us up more to win the homecoming game.
Obviously a big night, and as you mentioned, a homecoming. Let's talk also, mentioning that minute 32nd, complete 180 turn. Up 17-14. All of a sudden, the defense makes two big stops, coughs up the ball. The offense of the Tigers cough up the ball twice. You guys all of a sudden are up 23 points. Really, just the emotions. What were the emotions? Everything that was just building up in those final minute 30. What really just came about throughout that entire time?
We just knew we had to stop them. We couldn't let it happen again. Like, they beat us 42-14 last year, and we just couldn't have that happen again. That's all that was going through our mind. Defense was just not letting it happen.
Talking about tonight too. Obviously, last year you guys were the bottom dwellers, finishing 2-8. First thing to mention here, how does it feel to be a part of the winningest program in school history, but only in your 7th game? At 6-1, you guys have never won more than 5 games an entire season. How does it feel to be a part of just a remarkable team?
I'm just grateful to be on the team. I'm just glad to be on the team. We worked hard. We worked hard during the summer. Worked hard doing practices after school, everything. So we really deserve it. That's what I think.
And definitely deserving too. And coming off a season like that from last year, going into this season, obviously, still a lot more work to do. But really, you look at the rest of the schedule, and obviously, you guys beat down this team in San Jacinto pretty well. But they came in with a winning record coming in. The rest of the season, still tough opponents. You have West Valley, Citrus Hill, who's the top in your division, and also Beaumont, who really likes to beat down opponents. Gregovich mentioned that it's one game at a time, and what's really the mindset as you guys go in down after down, game after game? What are you guys going through as you guys go on the field and taking on these very resilient opponents?
We're just hoping to succeed in everything we do, but if anything happens, we expect the worst. But you expect the worst, but we just execute. That's all you do, you just execute.
And you guys definitely did that tonight. A big win, your 2nd win of the year. Still staying undefeated at 2-0. Once again, Talon Tavares, our player of the game here. Again, in a big win over San Jacinto in a 17-point victory. I believe you have one more shout-out you want to make before we sign off.
And to Lois in Ohio, Coach Gregovich said, hi.
I know you guys stay up there until 1, 2 in the morning to watch this Tahquitz team play, and I know you're going to be celebrating out there in the Midwest. Once again, the final score, 37-20. The Titans over the Tigers. We'll see you back next week as they'll be on the road as they will take on West Valley. From all of us here, good night, and we'll see you back next Friday night.
One match away from immortality.
This is a total team effort.
We're gonna come at you in one shot.